Welcome to the Power Platform Advent Calendar. Today, we will be focusing on the compliance and accessibility topics in the Power Pages. Let's talk about how to implement privacy in the Power Pages. As an administrator or maker, you can configure your Power Pages sites to implement privacy protection. The setting describes in the list here are general capabilities to support user privacy on Power Pages website and can be useful when planning for compliance within the applicable standard regulation. So the first one here is the audit logging. And in that, we have the last successful sign-in field. In the contact record shown when a user has the last sign-in, the date is picked up by an audit of the contact record and make that information available in the standard audit stream, allowing the administrator to see the inactive community members or the contacts and delete their records. Let's quickly have a look into the demo. So now you see I just quickly pop up directly the filter from the contact table, and you see the last successful login. You can filter out, or the administrator can filter out very easily here that, okay, the last login, if the users are not logged in last 2 years or last X years, we can simply go disable, or we can simply go and delete the records from there, because then there is no use that why the inactive members are available within your organization. Now, the next one in the list here is the identifying minor users and obtaining parental consents there. So regulation for identifying minor users vary maybe by country to country, region to regions, because somewhere as per the regulation, the people or the kids aged for 16 years treated as a minor, somewhere it's 18, somewhere it can be a differ. Because the minor can only access the page with the parental consent, you can configure the page to identify minors using these fields. In the contact record, which is the first one is minor, indicates that the contact is considered a minor in the jurisdictions. By default, it's set as a no. And the second one is in minor with the parental consent. That indicates that the consent is considered to the minor in their jurisdiction and has parental consents. By default, again, it's set as a no. So we can set as true, and then we can move accordingly. There are two side settings control that used for these values to set up these values in the Power Pages for the minors and the minors without parental consent. So the first one is if we go to the site settings, we see the authentication slash registration slash deny minor denies that used of the site by the minors. By default, this values is set to false. If the site user is determined to be a minor and the site is configured to block minors and appropriate messages appear there. The second value of the site setting is authentication slash registration slash deny minor without parental consents. This basically denies the use of the site by the minors without the parental consent. By default, again, this setting is false. If the site user is determined to be minor without the parental consent and the site configured to block minor without the parental consent, an appropriate message will appear. Let's have a quick look how these values look in the site setting. So in the site setting, you see these two values here. As I said, by default, it is false. But if you make it true, then this all the settings will be applied on the Power Pages. Now there are the four content snippets control message that appears when the site is used by the minors or the minors without the parental consent. You can change the message accordingly to your requirements. So there are basically four. The first one is account slash sign in slash minor not allowing headings. That is basically the text, and you can just put the age there, age requirements there. The second one here in the list is an HTML content, as in content snippet. So you can, and the key is their account slash sign in slash minor not allowed copy. The same way, we have an account sign in slash minor without the parental consent not allowing headings. This is again the text message with the parental consent text right now. You can update it. Another one is account slash sign in slash minor without the parental consent, not allowed copy HTML content, and have a quick look for that one, how this values look like. So if you can see these four values I'm talking about, these are the values inside. So few are the HTML contents, like an example, the use of this portal by the minors is not allowed, or the use of this portal by minors required the parental consent. We can have an age requirement as a text there or the label, as well as we have a parental consent against these values. Now, let's quickly move to the next one, which is agreeing of the terms and condition. So, some privacy laws and the regulation may require users to agree to the terms and condition that allow the marketing, profiling, or the access private information. As an administrator, you can publish your own terms and condition to get consent of the user before they authenticate to the site. And For that, we use the for content snippet control, the display of the terms and the condition of the screen or on the screen. You can change the text accordingly to your requirement. Very specifically, those content snippet are fall into the account slash sign in. Then we have a terms and condition headings, and basically it's a terms and condition text. Then we have a terms and condition copy, HTML content, terms and condition agreement text. It basically the text where it written, or it should return by default, I agree to this terms and condition you see in any of the public websites or other private website. Then again, terms and conditions button text where you see basically the continue button, the continue label has been written to the button. If you want to see, so let's firstly have a look. How does it look like? This content snippet. So this is the for content snippet which I'm talking about. Like I agree to the terms and condition, continue terms and condition, and then in the HTML content, basically here you can put any of the right now it's empty by default, but as an administrator, you can or you should or you must enter the terms and condition to be displayed in this content snippet via this content snippet to the Power Pages site. Now there are the two settings control that terms publish dates and whether the term should be displayed there. So the first one is authentication slash registration, and the values are the keys are basically terms publication date and the terms agreement enable. So the terms agreement date field is added to the contact record to store the data or store basically the data around the date and time a user agreed to the terms and condition. Let me quickly show you that one also in the site settings. So now you see this terms agreement enable terms publication date are part of the authentication registration, and the first value is false, the second value is basically like empty, so it's always treated as in false there. And if you go, so this is a portal terms and agreement date basically, and portal terms and agreement date will actually captured when you click I accepted. That's all for the today's tips, and stay tuned again tomorrow for the another surprising topics in the Power Platform Advent Calendar. Thank you.